Hey guys, MilkCookiesNGames here. Welcome to another episode of our Gates of Hell Gem Avatar tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to look at how to recreate the Iron Fist DLC missions from Assault Squad 2, but more specifically the third-person controller and the auto repair system. I was asked a question on one of my videos on how to achieve this, and this person was having some difficulties getting it to work. He did not say if he was using Gates of Hell, but I assume he is. So I had a bit of free time and I've gone ahead and played around in the editor because I was intrigued, and I managed to get it to work. However, it is different to the Assault Squad 2 triggers. So they utilize the same triggers, but however it's a little bit different. And I will show you the Assault Squad 2 version, and I will show you the Gates of Hell version that works. But before we go into the tutorial, I'm going to show you the demo. So let's do that. All right, so that's the demo. So basically I've just got two zones set up. One zone is for tracks and one zone is for the tank components. For example, the gun, turret, and engine. The only component we aren't using is the body, all right, or the hull of the vehicle, because if the hull breaks or the hull gets destroyed, hull or body, however you want to call it, it'll emit the troops from the vehicle, right, the crew, because the vehicle is no longer usable because the body or hull is damaged. So we don't want to do that. If you want to use the body or hull, that'll be a fail state of the mission. So you'll have an objective. The objective will be to keep your tank alive. If the body gets destroyed or broken, then it is mission fail. That's how you would use that component. Yeah, I have two zones and it just randomly selects which track gets destroyed and which component breaks. I will show you how I set that up later. But we're going to get into the tutorial now. So first things first is the crew of the vehicle. We just quickly disembark them. We select the tank. We have a tag, player_tank. Do not worry about these. Just put this one in there. With the tank crew, we have a player_tank crew tag and a player tag. Awesome. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to show you the third person setup. So I've got a folder here, third person, and I've got the on, so it pretty much turns the third person on. In the commands section, we have a delay command of 0.5. We have a third person command, and in the lock area, we want to have on, turn it on. Basically what it does is it prevents the player from pressing the shortcut to exit the third person control. That's my understanding of that. The tag is the player. It's called tank tag or the vehicle tag. Also, you can find that command in other down the bottom. There it is there. Next, we want a delay of 1. Now, in the demo, you notice that the engine was turned off. When you're in the third-person control view, you can't use the shortcuts like Shift plus Q. So Shift and Q at the same time turns the engine on and off. That won't work in third-person view. At least it didn't work for me. So what I've done is delay of 1, a effect command. In the effect here, I've typed in engine underscore on and given it the vehicle tag. Basically, it will turn the engine on for the player. Then I have a delay of 3, and we have an event command here, and I've created an event. Just right click, add, and I've called it player underscore tank underscore keep fixed. We will use that event later, and I'll show you. So before we go on to the Gates of Hell version of this automatic repairing system, I'm going to show you the Assault Squad 2. So here we've got the Assault Squad 2 version, and let's just use the track for example. So we have an event. Obviously we're not using that event anymore, so that doesn't exist. Don't worry about that. So do not copy these commands because it won't work. This setup won't work. So I'm just showing you why it doesn't work. So in the entities here, these entity conditions are the same except for the reference to the broken components. We have track left and track right. Now this setup does work. Now the only time it'll work is when both of these entities are met. So you have to have track left and track right broken in order for the commands to then initiate and repair the vehicle. We don't want that. We want the setup to go, if track left is destroyed, then it will fix track left and the player can continue. You don't want to have both tracks destroyed at the same time in order for this script to work. It's not going to work. And that's the same for the other components like the turret, gun, and engine. These three have to be broken at the same time in order for the script to initiate and repair the vehicle. We don't want that. So what we have to do is, not that one, this one here, individually set up the script for each component of the vehicle. So engine underscore brake, what we're going to do is in the condition, we're going to have an event, and it will be that event we created. Then we'll have an entities condition, and it's literally the same thing as the Assault Squad 2 one. Broken components is engine, and everything is the same. So what we'll do is you change the advanced to, you change it from standard to advanced. Right click, add group. And then in the select folder, select tag, give it the vehicle tag. Then right click on the include folder, add broken components. We're then going to type in engine. In the exclude folder, add 2 tags and a state. And then just type these in. So just type destroyed and type body underscore brake and state inactive. We want to exclude those. And that's it for the entities condition. Then if you come to the command section, we have a delay of 4.5 seconds, which in my opinion is pretty quick for a repair. So if you want to have the repair last longer, then add a longer delay. Then you want the actor component command. This command can be found in the actors tab, actor underscore component. Click on it. We want state work. The component will be engine. And then in here, we're going to change from standard to advanced. Right click, add group again. And we're going to add a tag in the select folder, which is the vehicle tag. In the include folder, we're going to add a prop and a state. And we're going to select vehicle. And we're going to select inhabited. Just click on the box and it should turn white. In the exclude folder, we're going to have 2 tags and a state, and it is the same as the entities condition. So we're going to have destroyed, body underscore break, and inactive. A delay of 0.5. Then we're going to have a trigger command, and we're going to select engine underscore break trigger. Basically what it's going to do is it'll reset the trigger. So no matter how many times your engine breaks, this script will always work. It'll always repair it, okay? Now this process is the same for the rest of the components. The only things that you are changing is the reference to the broken components. So instead of engine, it'll be gun. Everything else is the same. In the actor component, instead of engine, it'll be gun. Everything is the exact same. And the trigger, make sure you select the appropriate trigger. And that is it. It's the same process for all the components. Okay, it's quite tedious, but it works. Awesome. That's pretty much it for the automatic repair system. The next thing you could add would be like a refueling system. When the tank reaches a certain level of fuel, it'll automatically be refueled. Same with ammunition. If you guys want to see how to do that, leave a comment below and I'll do a follow-up to this tutorial. What I'll do now is show you how I set up the 2 zones to automatically break the components on the tank. So I've just got 2 zones here, break underscore tank parts and break underscore tank parts 2. We come here, we'll do the tracks. First, we have a condition with the near command. I've got the vehicle tag and I have the zone selected in the near to. For some reason, by default, this is set to 0. For some reason, it wasn't working properly. So I've just put a value of 5. I believe it's 5 meters. And it seems to work. Now you can add a delay, but we don't need that delay. So I'm actually going to delete that. You do not need that. The next thing you're going to want is a switch command, which can be found in generic switch. You're going to click on the switch command, go right click, add case. You're then going to double click on the case command, add a rand, which is random. So I put 0.5 because there are 2 tracks, so it's a 50-50 chance. Then you're going to click on case, right click, add inside. We're going to add a actor underscore component. We're going to set the state to destroyed, the component track left. The selector will be the vehicle tag. Then what you can do is you can click on case and go Alt C. All right, I'll delete that, we don't need that. And then what you'll do is change the component to track right, okay? Delay of 60 seconds, and then a trigger on the break underscore tracks trigger. And basically what this means is it'll reset every 60 seconds. As soon as the player goes back into that zone, the track will break again. It's the same setup for the other body components, sorry, of the tank. Engine, gun, turret. It's the same setup as we just did for the tracks, okay? So very simple, a little bit tedious, but it's a cool script, that's for sure. And that's it. Let's we'll play it one more time. Once we enter the zone here. See what I mean? Sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know why it does this. It is what it is. Something to do with the near condition. It's almost like the trigger is firing before the player is actually in the zone. But it'll work. Doesn't work the first time, but if we sit back in the zone, we're in the middle of the zone, and if I up the time, right? Up the time, you'll see it'll break a track. And then it'll fix it. It's really weird. If anyone knows what's going on and knows a fix for it, comment down below. Because I don't understand why it does that. Anyway, you get the idea of it. It still works. So yeah, that is how you do a third-person controller with an automatic repair system. Also remember, if you're in the third-person controller, you cannot use the shortcuts for the different things like turning engine on and off and whatever other shortcuts there are on the tank. Any of these will not work. Okay, so R won't work for rotating and all that sort of stuff. So you have to script it. That's it. That's it. That's the end of the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. I hope this answered your question. I forgot your name, mate. I do apologize, but I hope it answered your question. You know who you are. And if you want to see how to do the refueling and ammunition, and even the objective, how to create the fail objective if the body / hull is destroyed or broken, I can do that as well. Just leave a comment down below and I'll do a follow-up video. But yeah, apart from that, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for all your support. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.